Hey traders, Mike Katz here with 7 Points Capital with today's trader takeaways. So today we had better action. I personally was involved in some stocks that were giving me a little bit more action. So I had a pretty good day, and I'm glad that we were able to put together a nice green day to kind of balance out the last couple of days that were a little bit tougher. So I just want to go over a few symbols here. NTRI being one of them, Nutrisystem. They had earnings yesterday. Gap down pretty big last night after the bell, and I didn't trade it yesterday, but I had it on my radar. I love these that flag after earnings announcement, and a lot of times I try to play the continuation play, but this thing ended up popping up. I hadn't done anything here, and I just did notice that this thing was making higher high, higher low the whole morning, just heading higher, pulling back, but not really falling apart. Made a higher high here, higher low here, and then same thing here, so on and so forth, until this point here where we kind of ran into a double top, and instead of making another higher high, ran into a double top. Let me try to zoom in there so we get a better view of what's going on. And this was a penny pilot, so it's a nickel spread, minimum tick. And here when we kind of ran into a double top, barely making a new high, pulling back, and now it's starting to make a lower high, lower low. And then right around here is where I started focusing on it with a lot more attention. And I figured if this thing pulls back, even a 50% retracement of the move from, 31.50 to 30, what was this, 28.50, it's $2. A 50% retracement should give me about $1 move at the least. So even if this thing ends up making just a higher low, a 50% retracement is kind of expected. So I got involved here, 20, 15, and 10 in this area versus above 50. I think 55 was my exit. So I was risking about, if I'm not mistaken, about 30 cents, 35 cents. And it just started working right away. Very quickly started working, and when I got in, it gave me a nice quick wash. At this point I covered a little less than half here, and then I wanted to see if I can get a bounce back up here to short some more, potentially make another lower high, but I just kept on going sideways. So instead of a bounce, when I see a sideways move, that tells me that there's sellers and there's weakness. So if we could just look at NTRI on the executions, we can see kind of what I was doing. Short here, covered half on the wash, and then instead of getting that bounce to reshort it back somewhere over here, it just kept going sideways, got very tight. And then I started sizing in more here, and as it was going lower here and here and here, so I just added some more size here. And then when it went down and sideways, I covered a tiny bit here just to see how easy it would be. Very easy, which means sellers level 2 and the tape and everything was saying more downside. And boom, we got a nice quick drop again, and I covered going into the $30 figure right here. And when I saw that it was not going to be able to break $30, I covered and I was done with it. And then now that I look at it, I do see that was a nice big squeeze on the close. But I was done with it, and this was a really nice trade. Probably made about 4 to 5 R's on this, 4 times what I risked, so I'll definitely take that. And this one just played out late in the day, but I was on my radar all day long. So that was nice. And then what else do we have? Oh, AKRX. This was the one, a gap down, pretty big, 30-40%, and really weak. And just got a feeble little bounce and went sideways pre-market, but put in lower high versus here, gave me my setup. And looking at this here, I made a note here so I won't forget: view out buyer overpowered. So basically on the tape, I see green prints, I see buyer. this VWAP buyer that's buying on the offer a few hundred shares every few seconds. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, if this VWAP buyer is going to be in control, he could really start pushing this thing up, right? I mean, it's down $10, $11, whatever it is, and for this thing to rally a couple dollars it wouldn't be too hard, right? So at this point, I'm reacting. I think it's weak. It's setting up with my pattern, but I did see a buyer on there, which kind of made me slow down on the short side. But when I see that the buyers, keep on getting rejected, topping tails, not really able to bounce, I got short here on a very tight setup. Got short here versus above VWAP, above this wick, above this level. 21 was my stop, and basically I risked about 40 cents if I'm not mistaken. And let's see, let me pull up this one, AKRX. Let's zoom in a little bit. Up the other way, zoom in, and there we go. So guys can see the setup, can see that it was breaking down. Everybody who's playing this thinking that it's going to curl up is basically going to be stuck. So I shorted around here. Looks like it was in the mid 60s, and risking above here, above this wick, above 21 the figure, and another 21 cents above that. And then started working right away. If you guys could see, I was not out of the money on this trade for even a minute. Right away started working and never looked back, right? Those are really powerful. Anytime a trade starts working right away, I love it. And then boom, starts to go down, and then curls up, goes below $20 level, and then reclaims it. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, I will cover half here. It reclaimed the $20 level, couldn't stay below because potentially we can come back and retest 2050, right? So if it does that, then I would add back whatever I covered the half, but it never really was able to get back up there. So instead of really just traded very heavily, I just kept the other half, and I was thinking that we can get pre-market lows, which was $18, or yesterday's, I think it was yesterday's level. Let's see. Yeah, so yesterday's after the bell level was $18 where we bottomed out. Kind of that's what I was targeting. So the other half, I just let it work, and then when we got close to $18, I took it off. I think it was somewhere here. 18, what is this, 20s, 30, something like that. So that was a really good trade as well, making about 2 points on half of the position, risking about 40 cents on that. So that was nice. And then what else? Macy's was in play. Made some money in this, but huge missed opportunity in this. Not that I didn't do anything well, except that the stock just didn't want to get to where I wanted it to go. So this thing popped up, and if we look here, popped up early in the morning, earnings, $30 levels right here, starts to dance around 30, goes below, goes above, and does a dance over and over. At this point, it can't stay below 30, rips up, and then tests 31, which was the pre-market highs, and fails. Does it again and fails. And at this point, I noticed there was a massive seller, VWAP seller on the bid, unloading shares, even though the stock was going up. The seller didn't care, and he was just kept on selling. So I figured, you know what, double top here, top keeps on getting rejected by 31. I wanted to get short here, so I put on an order trying to sell 30.95 right below the figure, 30.95 with a stop of 31.21. So risking about, I don't know, 30 cents with slippage, let's say. And I was looking to, with 30 cents stop, I could put on some pretty good size. But this thing ended up only making it up as high as 88. Missed my order by, 7 cents. Too bad, because it ended up dropping over $2 after. So that would have been a really nice entry right here. And then the seller just kept on smacking bids and not caring what was going on. He didn't, that seller didn't care when it was going up, and it didn't care when it was going down. So heavy selling, and so I missed. That was a big missed opportunity. I didn't want to chase it. I knew that 28 was a level from the daily right here. So when we got down to 28, I went ahead and waited for this thing to kind of bottom out. And you can see anomalies here. Here's one, right? Hammer on volume. Here's another one. Here's a doji. Here's another one. Big volume bar with a small body. So I started accumulating some shares here near 28. And I was giving it till about 79, below that 28 level, another 21 cents or so. And it came close, allowed me to double up my position here and add some more. This would easily could have stopped me out, but just ended up bouncing. But nothing too crazy, just a small bounce considering the move down. So I ended up scaling out of the position here over the next hour or so. I even tried this on the short side here, thinking that this was a lower high, and it just started becoming, a grinder chop, and then I just closed it out here for a small loss, and I took it off here. Let's see the Macy's chart on this guy. Yeah, so you guys could see here, this would have been a nice entry, didn't get hit. Started accumulating some shares down here, and then started scaling out as it started working, tried to short here with lower highs, and then when that didn't hold, boom, I got out, took a loss, and that was the end of that. And then the last thing that I was in today was ZSAN. This one was really nice, great opportunity. Tragedy as they come. No, I mean, I think this, I forget what the numbers are, but the stock, yesterday I looked it up, I think they lose like $20 per share. And it's trading at $8, right? It's trash, they make no money. They haven't had revenues in the last 2-3 years, I believe. So just this, I went home short overnight here, and then this morning's ramp up and rejection in by the $10 range was just a gift. If it was going to reclaim 11 and hold 11, I would have been out on everything. So this was really nice gift, just complete unwind right away, and then just sideways. I hadn't covered anything here, and then it looked like it was going to curl up, so it held above $8. Let's just bring up this chart again real quick. ZSAN. So yeah, got a couple of really good fills here right below $10, and sold into the strength, which, having the bias of this being trash allows me to sell into strength as opposed to waiting for a lower high. So that was a really good entry. And then on the drop, I was really willing to let this thing work, go back all the way to $5 if it wanted to. But I started going sideways, held $8, covered what I shorted here, which means I went back to core position, and then had a $9 push here. I got short here at $8.95, and then that ended up being a nice entry as well. Covered that down here again into this when it got above $8. After it got below 8, couldn't stay below 8, above 8 here, covered that entry here back to core. And then I did something here on this bar right here. It looked to me like this thing was about to dump, take a huge crack. I actually sized in here quite a bit, thinking that we were going to get a nice big drop, and then I was going to add more if it kept on cracking, because I did have that bias. But seemed like they wanted to hold $8, and with such a low float, I don't know, it made me very nervous with all this basing here around $8. I said, you know what, I'm going to take the loss on the last entry, and I took it off here when it started curling up. And that's it. I'm done with this for now. I'm not going to be at my desk for a few days, so I figured, you know what, I don't want to monitor this. this thing, if for the amount of time that it's been going sideways, if it really ends up being one of those squeezing stocks, the amount of fuel that went into them holding it up here can easily get a multiple dollar move to the upside. Does it happen? Probably not, because it is so trashy. It probably cracks 8 and goes lower, but this wasn't a high conviction trade for me, so I'm okay with what I made in it, and it didn't give me the easiest sell off down here, so I'll be done with it, and that's pretty much it. It was an okay trade. You can see on ZSAN, I'm pretty much done with it, and that's it. Tomorrow will be another day, and I had some really good trades overall, some really good risk reward setups, capitalized on them well, executed well, and what I did well today was just stay away from the high volume, lots of scalping stocks, just trade very surgical and wait for my setups, and it translated into some pretty good P&L. So no complaints here, and that's pretty much it. So I want to thank you guys for watching 7 Points Capital. If you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Easiest way is probably on Twitter. Just ask away and I'll do my best to answer. Appreciate all the feedback. Give us a thumbs up, and see you guys tomorrow.